So welcome to day 1 inside of Healing Arts. So just taking a moment to notice the shift between whatever you were doing into where we are now. If you're live, you have an opportunity to maybe look around the room, see who's here. If you're watching the replay, just noticing how you're feeling in this moment. How do you want to interact with this time together? And just inviting you to slowly close your eyes when you feel ready and feel a little bit more internal. Noticing where your body meets whatever it is you're sitting on, lying on, standing on. Just seeing if you can allow yourself to be held a little bit more. So in my world, I teach a little bit more. Not, we have to go there now. Like there's no pressure, there's no force, but there's just little openings. And I believe there's always little openings. So just seeing if you can relax a little bit more. Going from the mind down to the body, noticing your heart, breathing into the heart, a lift in the chest, and letting it go on the exhale. Noticing your belly down to your hips, and a breath into your belly, into your hips. And letting it go on the exhale. However you're feeling right now is totally welcome. You don't have to change. You don't have to force into another state or a certain position. None of this has to look a certain way. And also bringing in this energy of nothing needs to happen either. So really taking the pressure off of me, taking the pressure off of you, taking the pressure off of us. How do we interact? How do we feel? How do we speak? How do we connect when nothing needs to happen? Doesn't mean there's no feelings. Doesn't mean there's no inspiration or thoughts. But it just means there's no need. There's no agenda for something specific to happen. And just notice how that feels in your body. When I tell you that nothing needs to happen today. Does your breath open up more? Does your body relax more? Does your mind get confused? Do you contract? Just notice. And in your own time, and as always with my classes, my sessions, everything in my world, interact as you want. So if you want to stay in a meditative state, do that. If you want to lay down and just kind of listen in that way, do that. If you're live and you want to interact in the chat, do that. If you want to write, do that. Like just do whatever you want and how you want to do it. So I'm really grateful to be here, and I'm really excited to have this talk and have these conversations come through. I feel very grateful. I feel very honored in a way, or yeah, that's like, wow, I get to talk about these things. I get to create these things, and you're here and we're here, and it's just a really good feeling. So I would love to hear, for those who are live, what is going on in your body right now? Are you excited? Are you like not really in the mind, you're more in a feeling? Are you a bit contracted? Feel free to give me some words. Let me know how you're feeling if you want. And how is healing arts landing for you? Like, why are you here? Is it because you are kind of stuck in a loop and you want to break out of it? Did you already break out of the loop and you want to keep kind of expanding on that? Let me know kind of where you're at with the topic as well. So I see some of you typing, so just I'm looking forward to hearing from some of you. And if you don't want to share, just feeling for yourself, healing arts, what's coming up for you. Just being with that. My body says, yay, keep expanding. That's amazing. Feeling relaxed, landing after traveling both inside and outside. Yeah. I could really feel the difference in my body. Where I came from felt unsafe. Hold on. Breathing, being here with you feels safe. Beautiful. Happy about that. I'm feeling like inside a tornado, looking out of the spinning mind and interactions, calm, excited, evolving and growing, and scared as shit. Yeah. What an honest, all the shares are honest, but I love the detailed of it. Thank you for bringing that in. My body feels calm and rested. I'm here because there's always some nuggets of gold in your teachings. Nice. You're like, I'm in for all the things because there's always something good. That makes me so happy. I wanted to be reminded by the wisdom I know you hold. I was drawn to your post immediately, trusting my intuition, feeling calm today. That's amazing. Yeah, it's like this pull or just a resonance that is also very important when you're choosing mentors and guides and teachers and just people in your life and places in your life and things in your life. There needs to be a resonance. So just because it works for somebody doesn't mean it's going to work for you. If there's no resonance, then there's a disconnection in the body. So that makes me really happy when the body is pulled to my work, because then there's a resonance. I love that. All right. So I will pull the winner today. There was some of you that shared the event and tagged me, and like I said in the emails, I love doing giveaways. I always do them in my free events. The gift this round is going to be a 45-minute call with me where we're going to be integrating the topics of healing arts. We're going to really solidify and gain clarity around how you can get out of the healing work and into the healing art in your life. So that's the context and the framing of the session. And it's also possible to book these sessions. So if you don't win and you don't want to do the giveaway, you can also book this session with me, and I'm going to put the information in the email with the replay. Still so many beautiful people joining. Okay, so I'm going to draw the winner. I have the bowl as always with names inside. So many people. Welcome everyone. All right, and the winner is Elisabeth Fjellro. I feel like you always win my things. I think this is the third time you winning. The magnetic energy. So if you have shared my work, I'm going to keep your name in here so you can have a chance tomorrow as well. The more times you share, the more you get in. All the information about it is in the email. And like I said, you can still book these calls with me. I'm going to make like a special offer just for this container. So that'll be in the email. So congratulations, Elisabeth. I'm excited about our call. All right, I think I missed some things here. Feeling arts feels natural, safe, and somehow like home. The words are like a magnet. Oh, I love that. With just being with what is instead of going into relaxation immediately. Yeah, it gets me in contact more with the feelings in the body. Exactly. It's kind of ironic to like force yourself into relaxation. It doesn't really make sense in my world. It should be more of an invitation. Thank you so much. Yeah, amazing. I'm on a tipping point into something new. I will do my part that this new will be a level up. Yeah. And not a face grinded in the dirt. Yeah. Your support always helps in the right direction. Good. Good. Amazing. So, welcome everyone who's just tuning in now as well. And feel free to bring yourself in if you want to share something. How are you feeling? What's alive in you? What is this topic bringing up for you? And I will always read and yeah, listen to what you have to say. So, thank you all for being here. All right, so let's dive into the content. I have 6 pages of notes, and I realize that it's not, it's a lot. And oftentimes I get a bit, I wouldn't say overwhelmed, I would say passionate about things that I teach and topics and things like this. And and then something always happens before I come and teach, and it's a surrender. So those of you who are inside Breathe Live, I do a monthly masterclass, and it often happens there too, where I'm like, there's a theme, and I'm going to prepare notes for the theme, like what are the key points, and like little notes, as you do or as one does. And then before I teach, it's kind of like my brain doesn't allow myself to take in the notes, and I'm like, well, this is inconvenient or inconvenient, because I want to be prepared, and I always take it as a symbol of really embodying whatever it is that I want to teach is more important than the information that I teach. So if I am in my energy of healing arts, it is going to be so much more helpful than if I'm just reading my notes. Of course, I believed in prepared presence. I have a whole class on this as well, where it's like be prepared, but also be very present. So we need to prepare our energy, not just our notes. And then I was reflecting, I said, okay, it's happening again, where I'm being called to completely surrender into the embodiment of this topic. Why? Or like, what is coming for me? And then I realized, which is quite obvious, right? But it became very clear in the moment, that healing arts, the concept of healing arts that I'm going to present today, this course or this experience is a form of my healing arts. So the concept of healing arts, I am doing it right now. I am in the healing arts right now in my life. And I know you all are as well in your way, and it's going to become more clear in today's session. But I am currently in my embodiment of healing arts. I created something that I felt was needed in the world through a feeling, through a personal, emotional, human experience. And a conversation that I feel is important, a topic that I feel is important, an experience that I feel is important. And I birthed it. I expressed myself. I put myself out there. I organized things around it to make it happen. I'm stewarding this experience. So I am literally in it as we speak. Are you guys feeling that a little bit more in the body now? Yeah. So it's not just like healing arts, it's this. It's like, we're in it right now in a modern way, right? Like on Zoom and everything like that. We're not in an art gallery, we're not in a theater, we're not in this kind of performing arts necessarily, but this is a healing art. So the first piece that I want to bring today, and some of you know this, but I want to just really ground it, make it practical, make it like this, oh, okay, maybe that is how it is, right? And also, I just want to say before I really dive in, for those of you who are completely new to my work, I'm Elisabeth Finocchiaro. Let me just introduce myself for a second. And in my world, I'm sharing mostly from my personal experience. That is the kind of healing arts for me is through my emotions and through my perspectives and through my experience. Doesn't mean that it's the ultimate truth. You can have a complete different perspective as me. You can bring in different sides of me. You don't have to agree with everything I say. That's not the point of this. The point of my work is to help you feel, and to help you feel safe in your feelings, in your body, in your life, in your relationships, in your career, just to create more coherence in your body and in your life. And it looks different for all of us. So my path will not be your path, but it can inspire and bring momentum and kind of make you feel that, or it can be a community for you to tap into. There's so many beautiful people in my space, in my community, and in my courses and all of these things. And everyone's doing it very differently. So just know that I'm an advocate for unique paths. And here's my dog, by the way. Like he's in the camera. And that I don't hold the ultimate truth. So I just want to say that, disclaim that. I'm a breath worker. I'm a trauma-informed body worker as well. Been working with coaching, mentoring for a decade now. Started at a young age. Have been working 100% since then. I'm Italian, Norwegian, American, so I have a bit of a mix. And I'm very passionate about both the embodiment part, so guiding the breathwork sessions, guiding the integration in the body, but also the teaching part. How can we simplify concepts? How can we bring more awareness? How can we bring more perspectives and thought-provoking evolution? So I really love speaking and teaching as well. And I feel like they go so well together, because once you have more concepts and more understandings, then oftentimes you can integrate it in the body. Sometimes integration in the body is, you're not ready for it until you kind of understand it more in the mind. So I do both. And I'm very grateful for the work that I do, and all of you that are here today. So the first piece that I want to bring in today, and some of you might know this already, but again, I just kind of want to frame it in a way that's kind of like a little bit of a history lesson on art. So I'm sure there's many of you here that are artists. I actually know that there's a couple here that are artists, in a sense of they're painting, they're creating with their hands. And I know there's a lot of other type of artists, like more like me, like more an emotional, through teachings, through guiding, through creating in that way. So there's many different ways to be an artist: performing arts, theater, music. There's so many different ways: dancing, movement. So I took art in high school as one of my majors because of my sensitivity and my emotional world. It made sense for me to be in art and in the art class. And what I realized, and as you guys know, there's many eras of art, like the Renaissance era, the modern era, abstract era. Like there's so many different eras of art. And I had to study these eras and kind of bring out different artists and kind of study their work and make all this, thesis about what they were doing, why they were doing it. And you might know this, but a lot of art was directly tied to what was happening collectively in that time. Politics, social justice, right? Kind of like politics, general consciousness of the collective. What was also happening with art, this is where I got my attention, and I never forgot this, is that art became an evolutionary force for society. So there were certain artists that would create something, they would make something that would make people feel something they didn't even think they could feel. So they didn't even know that they could feel this certain thing. And this was before, so people were reflecting on life through art before psychology was coined, for example. Because now we can reflect through resources and psychology and transformational work, like in my world, the healing industry. It's like a modern industry now, where before it was actually, you found it through art. You found empowerment through art. You found thought-provoking future ideas through art. You found evolutionary feelings through art. Before people knew there was another way, It was an artist that opened the door. And that really got my attention at a young age. I was like, okay, so if art is actually moving the needle forward for us as a collective, it took one artist to change the narrative. And all these people are feeling now. In theater, but theater used to be a form of entertainment, but it wasn't just a form of entertainment, it was a form of developing feelings. So people were developing empathy, people were developing, processing grief, people were reflecting through what they were feeling on the stage. But that took a certain artist to potentially embarrass themselves or to be very vulnerable and like put their ideas and their work out there. And usually a lot of artists, as we know as well, get a lot of flashback for what they do. It's controversial. It's going against the status quo. No one gets it. You're weird. You're crazy. You're abstract. I'm sure a lot of you can feel this in many ways in this modern world as well. You're not fitting into the logical, linear way that a lot of people that didn't go to art school feel or operate in. Are you guys feeling this? Is it landing? Cave painting, yeah, old times graffiti, yeah, expression, right? It's all about expression. So when I realized this in a very grounded way, to be like, art is not just art, it is actually a evolutionary tool to move society forward. It did something to me, you can imagine. It made an impact. Art always creates opinions, it provokes, yeah, exactly. Provokes something new. And so it helps us feel things that we maybe even didn't even know we could feel. But then what happens to that feeling, right? What happens when we start to feel things? It's not always fun. It's not always easy. It's not always this, there's not always resources to deal with those feelings. So this world, like I was saying earlier, I feel like it operates a lot on a linear timeline and a logical framework that feelings don't always fit into, right? And who here, if you want to say it in the comments or just feel it in your body, who here kind of really feels like they're emotional, sensitive, empathic, and it's not always convenient in their day-to-day life or the structure that is around them? And just put your hand up, or yeah, we got some people agreeing, right? So you feel things, you are noticing things, you are seeing things, and it's just like not really fitting in a box of, let's say, a society that didn't go to art school, right? In a big context. When you go to art school, we can call it, there is so much room for expression. And there's always nuances. There's a lot of art schools that I'm sure are kind of on the shadow side and actually controlling and cultish, but you find that kind of everywhere. But in general, there is so much space for expression, individualism, or like uniqueness, or understanding that we all have gifts and we all see things differently, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing that we're expressing and we see things differently. So the gap here is that you either went to art school or you were raised in a house where your creativity was valued and you were valued and there was space for you to explore and be curious about life, or you were raised in a home and a society like school where that wasn't valued. And you were forced into certain ways of being, and you were told that your emotions, there was no space for them. And what does this do to you, or to what happens to someone when their expression is not welcome, when their emotions are too much? What does that do to somebody? You guys want to put it in the chat for those who are like interactive. Yeah, the mandalas, the monk use a whole day to make, and then the point is to wash it away. as a deep movement in that as well. It gets suppressed and shut down. It feels like not all part of us is welcome. This resonates deeply. I feel like there's no room for me. I lost myself. I experienced not being met in my emotions yesterday. It hurts. It feels unsafe. Then I freeze. Yeah. Yeah. It made me sick, right? So it can even go to that extreme of causing symptoms. And so when your expression and when your emotions cannot get a channel through relationship, through some sort of creation, through just general space in your life, in one way, so I didn't prepare to say this, and it might sound a little bit like bold and to the spot, or kind of to the point here. In one way, your evolution stops. If expression and freedom of expression and thought, your thoughts, your emotions, your like, I feel this, even though it's different than what everyone else is feeling, and even though the society is saying this, I want this over here. And if you're not able to express that, then could it be that you're actually stalling your own evolution? If feelings are the thing that move this human experience, if art is what actually is moving from era to era and actually changing a whole society, it's like art changed how humans perceived self-worth. Art changed how politics functioned. You can see the counterculture culture movement, for example. Music changed that. Certain dancers that broke out of the strict linear ballet and just went into free movement and expression completely was a paradigm shift for how we move and how we can liberate ourselves. Like, oh, we can do that? I want to do that. Right? So if you're not able to do that, then could we say that it actually will stall your own evolution? And this is where the trauma part starts to come in. Right? It's like not wanting to fit in. This is where some trauma stuff starts to come in here. Right? We talked about it hurts, it feels unsafe. We talk about there's no room for me. So there's like, there's a belief here, like is an existential belief, there's no room for me. We all know that that's not true logically, but there's a little girl, there's a little boy, there's an actual experience in the body that like thinks that's the truth, right? Feels like all parts of us is not welcome. It's like, why wouldn't all parts of us be welcome? Like, why would we come to earth and be like, only that part of you is welcome? Like these are all traumatic imprints that we've all experienced in different ways that made a meaning. Okay, take a little breather. I'm gonna take a little breather. Let this land a little bit. I'm gonna read the comments. What? Thank you. Your gift is profound. I feel this deeply in my body. That's amazing. For me, it's the feeling of the big, ejection of the herd, rejection. Yeah. I want to be an artist, but my parents said had hard to live from just that. Get a good education and keep your art as a hobby. So I went to law school for 6 years. This is beautiful. Yeah. What I just saw now with being with myself, feeling my body and closed off from my own just space to be calm and not make a fuss, got closed off. And at this earlier stage of life, only one person was allowed. It opens now. Yeah. Wow, it feels like magic how you put words into this theme. This is my art. This is me expressing my feelings. This is me expressing my thoughts freely, my emotions freely. This is me creating something that creates ripples. And I'm not attached to how it lands in all of you, but I care. I really care. You know, I was like doing a little prayer before this, like use me, like use my words, use my body. Like I want, this matters, this conversation matters, these people matter. Like I want to help. I want to feel. I want to help them feel something. So thank you for seeing that, because that's what's happening. Depression is a lack of expression. Yeah, and depression is not moving, right? Not evolving. And if expression is actually evolution, it makes complete sense. I remember someone told me that many years ago as well. Like depression is lack of movement, and expression is a movement. So I resonate a lot with that. Okay, so good. Let me just turn over my 6 pages of notes and see what else is here, even though it's not really exactly what's happening. So continuing, let's just continue, because now the trauma part came up of being like, if you weren't allowed to express yourself, if you weren't allowed to if your feelings weren't, you know, taken in with, like, there's space for you, this is, you're allowed to feel that, and all these things. What do you make that mean about yourself? And this is such an important conversation and such an important process to go through, of like, what did you make certain things mean about yourself? Yeah, not moving emotions creates stagnation. Exactly. So now we're just putting a lot of things together, guys. a lot a lot of threads are coming together now, and that's what I love. That's what I feel can be my art sometimes, is like all these like little quotes that you guys hear that are so nice, but it's like, what does it actually mean? Like, let's ground this. So I'm grateful that things are coming together, full circle moments. So profound. Yeah, it feels like you're speaking to an awakening forgotten, neglected cells deep within. Oh my gosh. Whew. All right, this is good. So when I talk about emotional intelligence, and this is really going into my Healing the Heart program, this is where I go deep into all these things. There's a 40 page workbook as well, with like explanations about the nervous system, the freeze, like all the responses, how to rewire them, why we have, like, it's, I go so deep into this in Healing the Heart. But I talk a lot about these two parts of us, or there's many parts of us, but the wounded and the powerful part. And through life, and when you start awakening into your emotions, so a lot of us, I feel that we're naturally emotional, right? It's just like part of being a human. We feel things. If you took away feelings, it would be like the really strange place to be, right? Like a world with no feelings. We didn't get that. We got a world of feelings. So we were always feeling. But then, like we talked about, like you guys know, certain things happen, you shut down the feelings. And some of us can go years with that shutdown. So I know people, and you might be someone yourself, that are awakening to your feelings in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 60s, awakening to your feelings in your 20s, in your 30s, where maybe from 7 to 17 or 20, they were shut down. This looks different for every single one of you. I'm just trying to generalize to get an idea, but it's like literally your unique path. It's going to be like your thing, and I have my thing. And so when you start to, I also have an idea that we get spiritual awakenings. This is when you awaken to realize there's more than what meets the eyes, but that's very different than an emotional awakening. So emotional awakening is when you realize, like, I have some wounds that I keep picking at. This is more shadow work type of stuff. So a spiritual awakening is more like, whoa, we're all one. Like synchronicities, ancient type of scripts that are talking about connection and divinity, but emotional awakening is a personal, responsible initiation type of vibe. It's very different. So I had my spiritual awakening when I was around 17 or something when I realized, okay, and it was like a slowly happening since I was 15. And then it really happened 17, 18, complete, like, oneness with the universe and completely into that. And then I was 20, I think I was 24, something like that, when I had my emotional awakening. So there was many years in between. And the emotional awakening was like, oh, I'm not perfect. Oops. Like this, and this is vulnerable for me to share, but it's really what I went through, of being like, oh, I can hurt people, and I have shadows, and I have to take responsibility for things, because I felt like I was connected to this oneness and this place in my heart. I was like, why, I love everyone and I care about everyone. I have good intentions. I felt that truly, but it wasn't enough. I still had things to take responsibility for. Especially this happened in relationship, realizing, okay, woo, I need to clean up my side of the street and not think that everyone else, there's something wrong with everyone else and not me, right? So the emotional awakening can look different for many, and it often leads to many dark nights of the soul. I don't know about you, but if you've been through a couple dark nights of the soul, it's a real journey. And I call it the subconscious washing machine. So you go in there a lot. I downward spiraled so much for years, downward spiraling. My worthiness, my self-belief, like so much was just up in the air. It was just like, who am I? Like identity crisis, ego deaths. This is all kind of emotional awakening type of stuff, shadow work type of stuff. Not saying that it goes away necessarily, like ego deaths and taking responsibility and shadow work, but for me it got a lot easier when I started to clean up and started to realize some foundational key points. And so I don't go into the washing machine that much. I don't downward spiral that much. Like I remember I used to downward spiral once a week at some point in my life. Have a past on being very hard on myself. And now it's like I don't really remember the last time I downward spiraled. Like I can have bad days. I can have bad mornings, or not even bad mornings. I can have bad moments of being like, whew, I'm losing doubt. I am feeling stuck. I'm feeling heavy. I am kind of, in my head a lot, but I don't downward spiral really anymore, which is an amazing feeling and something I celebrated a lot. I was like, another month, I didn't downward spiral. Another month. I'm like, it's 6 months. It's a year. It's 2 years since I've downward spiraled. Not saying my life is perfect. If anything, the past 2 years have actually been some of the hardest years I've been through emotionally, with different things happening in my life. Harder than what happened when I was going through all the ego deaths, actually. Much harder things I've been going through the past 2 years. But there's been grace, there's been ease, there's been presence, there's been trust, there's been consciousness, awareness, communication, resources, practice, art. There's been expression. Some years ago, when I had my emotional awakening, I had my business at this point. I was already teaching at this point. I started teaching basically at my spiritual awakening, and then, things really shifted in my emotional awakening. But I would sometimes shut down my business when I would go, or not shut it down, but I would not show up when I was going through a hard time. I would cancel classes. I mean, it didn't happen that often, but it would be like I would sabotage, basically. I wouldn't cancel classes, but I would just not make classes. I would sabotage, or I would make this whole plan of being like, I'm going to launch this and this and this, and then I wouldn't launch any of it. Or yeah, there was just so much that I wouldn't express because it was too much. It was too intense. I didn't have the resources. I didn't feel good enough. I didn't feel worthy enough. So I stopped my evolution in that moment. I thought that I couldn't create and heal at the same time. Then I had this huge awakening. I'm going to get to the comments in a second. Just sometimes they distract me, and I'll get there. But thank you. Keep writing. Keep writing. And I had this huge insight. I can heal and create at the same time. Healing arts. Some of the best music you listen to is from musicians that were going through a really hard time. Some of the movements that, like a dancer or someone that you see performing theater, they're fully in their emotions, and they've experienced grief. They've experienced hardship. They've experienced vulnerability. They've experienced power. They've experienced love. They've experienced embarrassment. They've experienced so many different ranges of emotions, and that's why they can move through it faster, and they can share it and make an impact and help others move through it faster. How many of you guys have a song that you love that just helped you move through something faster? Yeah. And if that person didn't make that song, you would have moved through it, but maybe not as fast, because you listened to that song on repeat and you were like, that person gets it, that band gets it, or that instrument that really speaks to my heart, and that really is like the sound of what I'm going through right now. I'm not alone. I'm going to cry, I'm going to feel, I'm going to move through this with this song, with this art. So then I had this huge insight. I can heal and I can create at the same time. And that's where things started really shifting for me, especially in my business, because I'm in the business of sharing my emotions. Like, that's basically my business. I share my thoughts and I share my emotions. And of course, I package it and I do all that stuff. But that's basically what I'm in the business of, is sharing what I think and what I feel. And if I don't feel worthy of that, then there's going to be like, the business is not going to work. Right? And you notice that I noticed that a lot of other things didn't work either. I didn't feel worthy in relationships. I was down on myself. I was hard on myself. I didn't have fun. I didn't let myself enjoy, because I could have done better, and I should have been this, and I don't deserve that. And I'm not a good teacher, and I'm not this. Like, there was just so much trauma that was speaking, not power. There were so much wounds that became my identity and not power. So you can be a powerful person and have wounds. Of course. I am far from perfect. And I've been through some stuff. And I know you have too. We've all been through things as children, especially when we didn't have resources. We didn't have the awareness and the experience to stand up for ourselves or to guide ourselves, where we're literally mirroring whatever nervous system is closest to us, whether it's safe or not. You need a mirror. You need somebody to regulate. And you've been through some stuff that you shouldn't have been through, because your state was dependent on somebody else in that moment. And that's a big responsibility as a society and as parents, as a community, how we are modeling for the generation that comes after us. Whether it's your kids or somebody else's kids, you can be a close nervous system for the next generation. So because of this, you've been through some stuff. I've been through some stuff. But there's a power that is innate, but it takes certain keys and certain foundations. You got to clean up your worthiness stuff, especially the worthiness of love. I feel like if you clean this one up, you clean up almost everything else. It's kind of a foundational thing that you'll land on. If you clean up that you are worthy of love, you will clean up almost everything else. This is kind of the basis of everything. Are you or are you not worthy of love? And when you were younger, something happened that made it mean, you made something mean something about yourself. Somebody didn't give you the space to feel, to express, to be you, to be curious, and you made that mean that you were not worthy of presence, that you were not worthy of love, that you were not worthy of expression, that your emotions are too much, that you are too much, you're way too much. Instead of somebody guiding you to be like, emotions are beautiful. What are you feeling right now? What are you thinking right now? How can we channel this? Where do you want to put this? So there's a lot to this conversation about emotions as well, because we also want to be grounded in our emotions. We don't want to just project and kind of emotionally vomit on everybody and everything and expect that everyone needs to validate your emotions. Like, there's a lot of shadows in emotional intelligence. But once you get a level of emotional intelligence, there is a management kind of, there's a connection of being like, this is my feeling, this is what I'm experiencing, and I'm going to create a safe environment to express it. So you don't project onto people. You don't blame and become a victim and somebody said, like we don't do that when you're emotionally intelligent. But when you're emotional and you don't have resources, it can get messy. And this is what the whole world is afraid of, is messy emotions. So let's be logical. Let's stay in the boxes, right? Okay, so that was a whole bit there. You can heal and create at the same time. And when I realized this, I continued to express myself. I continued to make things. I continued to talk and share things in my own way. So, for example, like I shared, the past 2 years have been a bit tough for me. There's been personal things that I've been navigating that I never thought I would have to navigate. And it has definitely shooken me up. But because of the resources that I have, and because of the power that I'm connected to within myself from all of the work and all of the different concepts that I teach in my courses and just what I'm sharing, I was able to still show up. And I found my sweet spot. So it's not like I just tell the internet everything that's wrong with me or not wrong with me, everything that I'm going through. So this is a whole other like little side note for those of you who show up on social media. It's not about like you haven't heard me talk about what I'm going through on social media, for example, because for me it's more about what am I learning, what am I embodying, and how can I express that. I don't need to express my wounds on social media. I do that in therapy sessions. I do that in safe containers. I go to therapy. I have my one-on-one support. I have my friends. I have my partner. I go to nature. There's different ways where I channel my wounded parts. Like they are contained in very safe places. They're not just aired out on social media. And especially as a professional, for those of you who are coaches and healers and therapists, if you start airing out your wounds on social media, people are going to think that you need a therapist. They're going to be like, she's a therapist, well, she needs a therapist, right? So it's kind of like, be a little bit mindful of that. And at the same time, you want to show up authentically. So for me, it looked more like I show up authentically with my clients, or I show up authentically everywhere, but there's boundaries. There's only so much that I will share in the complete public open because I need to find my safety. I need to find where I feel good and what feels good for me. I'm not just going to share vulnerably because someone said that you should share vulnerably for likes. Because vulnerability posts, they get more likes. Have you guys noticed that? When you share a struggle, everyone's like, oh, go bedring. I hope you're going to be okay. You're so strong. You're so brave. You get like 200 likes and 500 comments. And then you post something about your offerings and you're in your power and you get like 2 comments and 1 like. And you're just like, great. I'm going to keep airing out my shit because I'm getting more attention. Of course, you're getting more attention because people love to see that you're also struggling, because it solidifies their struggle as well. But when you start to get out of that paradigm, and it takes some movement, it takes some getting used to start showing up in power and meeting power. Power meets power instead of struggle meets struggle. And this is, your life changes when you start to interact like this in your personal relationships, friendships, business, clients. There's more boundaries, and it's all from a powerful place, not a scared place of being like, I need to protect myself. It's like, no, this is just what I'm coming with, and this is what I want to attract. Or yeah, that was a little bit of a side rant. Really resonate. Oh, it's so good. Okay, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit because I know I missed a lot of, let me know how things are landing for you all, and then I'm gonna try to tie this all together. Thank you for valuable sharing. I'm so grateful. Possible to heal and create at the same time. That's actually what it's about. Like if you can get to that place, and I can help you get to that place because I've been there and I'm in that place right now, then you're in a beautiful evolutionary place in your life. Place. I resonate so much with holding myself back when feeling down, holding back the creation. I love this. Thank you so much. Healing and creating. Yeah. Yeah, it's the shutdown. It's a mechanism. It's a protective mechanism because you're afraid to be embarrassed, afraid of rejection, afraid of disappointment. But when you clean all this stuff up, Suddenly it's like, I'm okay with being embarrassed. I'm okay with being rejected. Of course, I can still feel it when people reject me, or when I kind of put myself out there and I get one like it can feel embarrassing. But my power is stronger than my wounds. So I keep moving through it and I keep expressing, and my art is more important than my wounds. But my wounds are still important and I still have a place for them. Like I get support because I know how important it is to get support in the right places with the right people. Right? Okay. Resonates so much. Yeah. My father died. When my father died, the song Nice Cave, was it? Yeah. Into My Arms, Help Me Through the Grief. Exactly. Anne Byrne did a beautiful cover. It's like music just really, it's art, moves us forward. What's your definition of feelings? I love words, so just curious how you relate to it. That's quite a deep question, actually, to define healing or to define feeling. What comes up to me right now is this. It's how something moves you, right? Like we talk, or this is my experience. We talk about it's so amazing to feel moved. In Norwegian, it's called rørt, like uh, to feel whatever that is in English, to feel moved. Yeah, moved. A feeling is something that moves inside of you, I would say. I was never asked how I feel about anything. So even in my 20s, most of the time, I didn't know how to articulate my feelings. Yeah, anger was the only emotion I could feel clearly and name in my body. Yeah, and maybe you saw anger a lot, so it was very clear what's anger, what's not anger. So a resource to have power over wound in your life is to be able to articulate your feelings. And this is a huge thing that I work on inside of Healing the Heart. How do you actually, and this is something I've been told so much in the past couple years, especially, and my boyfriend especially, he just like tells me, I'm so grateful that you can tell me exactly how you feel. It makes me feel so safe. It makes me know exactly how to support you. And it makes me feel like there's no, and I can even say, I'm not sure exactly how I feel right now. I'm going to try to find the closest word for the movement that's happening in my body. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways to learn how to really ground and articulate the emotion, the feelings, and that brings so much safety and so much clarity into your life. I'm so grateful for you showing up anyhow, because it's made a big difference for me. Yeah, exactly. Totally agree. Yeah. And it can be times where the past 2 years, like I didn't make up so much necessarily, or I could think that I haven't made up so many new things. And I look back and I'm like, I launched that thing and did that thing and did this and did that. It's like, okay, I was actually moving more than I thought. Victimhood is contagious. Yeah, this is so important. Good. When you're an artist, creator, not everything you put out will resonate too. Exactly. Some things you're way ahead of your time, and people are like, well, I don't even get it. Like, what are you doing? Or you're ahead of your own timeline in a sense of like there's still things you need to embody and feel, and sometimes you can get an idea. This is also kind of another part of all this. You can get an idea and you execute it right away, but that idea was actually meant to marinate and stay with you for a couple years before putting it out. But your insecurity and your excitement and kind of restlessness just puts everything out right away instead of letting things really mature and sit. So I believe that some creations are meant to come through and out really quickly, and other creations are meant to be almost over your whole lifetime. And having patience and not forcing things is a big energy here as well. And actually not this like instant gratification life that we are in and seeing in this world, being like, okay, can I actually sit on this project for 5 years? That doesn't feel comfortable. I want it now. I want to do this now. It's like, yeah, but why? Doesn't this thing deserve 5 years of your attention and love and creation? Imagine what you could create in 5 years. No, but I want to do it now. It's like, okay. So there's this kind of immaturity that happens as well, being like, I need the validation now. When you stop needing validation, your life also changes. Art gets so much easier. You guys know the story of me showing up to classes with nobody showing up, but I still perform my art. I still teach the class, and that is just a standard for me. Of course, going a little bit more later in my business, there's definitely a budget thing. So it's like if there's something that is that requires a really big amount and there wasn't enough and it didn't make sense financially, now I don't fulfill everything, but I'll still sit with what I created if it's not the actual place, and I go there and I do the thing. But when I first started and was just like renting locations and doing workshops and things like that, if no one is there static noise? I don't hear it. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I still show up for my art because I develop in my art. You will develop in your art. You will move. You will keep moving in your art, but you can't move if you're not making something. This is kind of going full circle. So there's so much. And we could literally, oh, I'm so grateful, you guys. This is just, yeah, making everything feel more important by you adding your energy to it. So I do and I can dissect every part that we've talked about today and go deeper into it. And that's really what happens inside of Healing the Heart. So what's going to happen now is we're ending the day and we're going to join tomorrow for the breath session. For those of you who had never breathed with me before, I have a way of weaving in teachings into my breathwork sessions, storytelling, but also a lot of space for you to just feel and unwind on your own. There's no force, there's no push. So if you've done intense breathwork before, that's not my style. I don't believe in method over feeling. So I want you to feel before you do something. And that's the whole point of healing arts as well, is that it's the movement's coming from a feeling, not like doing something and then feeling something. So you're really welcome tomorrow if you want to come live. The replay will be up as well. And I think that's all I have to say about that. If you want to share some of your insights here, if there's anything more you want to put in the chat, feel free to do that. I am going to talk a little bit about healing the heart. So if you do want to stay and hear that, you're really welcome. If you feel complete and you want to just like simmer in today's conversation and you want to log off, do that. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm excited for tomorrow and everything. And yeah, the continuation, the evolution of what we're doing here together and the ripples that it will make. Yeah. You're so welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to move into talking a little bit about healing the heart for those who are feeling maybe a little pull, a little curiosity, or maybe you're just like, I just want to hang out. I don't want this to end yet. And I don't care what you talk about. I just want to stay. You're so welcome, everybody. So November 10th is starting a 6-week program with me called Healing the Heart. And I have ran this program for 5 years. So it's nothing completely new, but it's evolving. So that's also something that happens in my work, is my work evolves. So most of my work is live, moving pieces. I don't have that many things that are like static that you could buy that are complete. I have master classes and there are some things, but the biggest movements in my world, Breathe Live, Healing the Heart, and my Breathworker program, I do them live because there's an evolution. So if you did Healing the Heart 2 years ago, it's going to be very different today. Same essence, same kind of vibe, but the content is going to be deeper. My stories are going to be like, there's going to be new stories, new embodiments, new reflections. I'm evolving. Like I have been doing stuff. I've been creating like for 2 years. I'm going to be a very different person, even though the essence and so much is the same. So I actually have a lot of people who done Healing the Heart do it again. There's one person in Healing the Heart now who's already done it. She's in for another round. The last round, I think there was 1 or 2 that have already done it. So it's very normal. There's almost always an alumni in Healing the Heart. And instead of 3 weeks, I'm making it 6 weeks because I got a lot of feedback that the work is very deep and there's a lot of stuff that comes up, and that it's like it just needs more time to marinate, to ask questions, to deepen, to integrate. So now the program is 6 weeks, which is very exciting. So it really feels like a big journey because the 3 weeks go very quickly. So Healing the Heart is an emotional intelligence resource program, I call it. Doesn't sound so exciting, but it's a program for you as a professional or personal to get experience in navigating emotions. So either you're in the realm of transformation or healing, so you deal with a lot of emotions with your clients and you want to learn how to help them understand them, hold them, conduct the energy, conduct emotions, not being afraid of their emotions, being more in their power, what we're talking about, out of the wound and into the power, or your personal life. And it's really in the foundation a personal program. And in one way, it's even moving into a rite of passage program. Because, like we've talked about today, so much of our ability to create has come from a trauma response of not having enough space, of not really being able to explore who you are and what do you want to do and what are your values, what's your thing, what's your art, because you were either told who you were or you were told you couldn't be who you were, which is kind of both of the same things anyway. So rite of passage is when you take full ownership of your body, of your life, of your mind, of your feelings, and you become and reclaim who you are. And I didn't understand the word reclaim for many years. So, you know, when people are like, reclaim your power, like rewrite your story, I didn't get it until recently, actually. And I never say words that I don't get in my body. So I would never say like reclaim your power if I didn't even know what power truly meant until some years ago. Everyone's like, unleash your power. It's like, what the heck is power? What is it really? Because I was in the wounds. I didn't know what power was. It sounded cool and I wanted it. And I was like, okay, power, but what the heck is it? I don't get it. And it wasn't until I docked into my power, now I can talk about power because I get it. I've been through situations where the wounds wanted to take over, but there's a part of me that's so clear and so present that it's not possible to take over. I don't go into the washing machine. I don't downward spiral. I have tough times and I still go through things. I get hurt, but I don't completely like destroy my life anymore. So the same with rewriting and reclaiming. I didn't really get it. I'm like, how can you rewrite your story? Wasn't the story written already and you just have to keep writing it? Like, how do you rewrite a story? Now I get it. I really get it. We can rewrite our story and we can reclaim parts of us, but it requires going back to all the parts that were taken from us and being able to embody the woman, the man, the person that you are, and really move with that energy in it. And it's not hard, but it takes willingness, it takes courage to kind of go against what your mom or your dad told you were. Like, that's hard to go against family, to go against society. Like, it's not that comfortable, but it's possible. It's so possible. And Healing the Heart is where we do this work. It's identity work, shadow work, boundary work, communication work. What else? Breath work. Like, it's a lot of different elements into Healing the Heart. And it's going to give you a lot of resources moving forward where when things come up, when the wounds come up, you're going to know exactly what to do. You're going to know exactly what to do. It's like almost having an internal formula. And it's not from a method, but it's more from a what would my powerful, like, what does my power do? How does my power move? How do I get more uncomfortable? How do I get more comfortable in that? So there's more I can say, and I'm going to share more about it tomorrow as well. But if you're feeling the call, I would love to have you. We're starting November 10th. It's going for 6 weeks. Like I said, incredible for personal and professional development. There's a Telegram group, so there's going to be ongoing coaching in there. You can ask questions. There's a workbook you're going to get. There's modules, there's deepening calls. So there's just so much support for you. So if you have any questions, you can reach out, and I would love to answer your questions and see if it's a good fit for you. If you're a bit like, I don't know, if I just send me a message and we can go a little bit back and forth and see if it's going to be a good time for you and a good place for you. We also go very deep into trauma and nervous system work there. Understanding the responses, how to rewire them, how to get more awareness about that. And ground it. Like, because you can hear about the trauma responses, but do you actually understand where they're coming from and what they look like and how to identify them and how to move them, and the nervous system? It's like I really have an ability to ground it and make it very simple and tangible. Yeah, so tomorrow's going to be around 1 hour as well. All right. Thanks a lot. So impressed by your insights and work. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful teachings today. Oh, this is great. Okay. So I can leave the link to Healing the Heart here, but I'll also put it in the email as well. And you can reach out to me. You guys know where to find me. You're so welcome. You inspire me every time. Can't wait for tomorrow. Yay. Good. Good, good, good. So slowly, we're going to log off. I'm going to put on some music. So if you feel like, yeah, you want to take a little bit of time, thank you all so much for being here. My throat is starting to give out now, so I am complete. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you tomorrow or where we are next connected. There's so much support for you. Move with the body, not the mind. Move with your heart. Move with what pulls you. Move with your feelings, your emotions, but from a grounded place, from a powerful place, not the wounded place. You got this. We got this. And I'm so excited for tomorrow. Great. I'm going to leave the room open a little bit with the music, but I'm going to turn my camera off. So thank you all so much. Sending so much love, and I'll see you tomorrow.